is filing a lawsuit against Ken because this man has been stealing from their joint account. And one of the reasons he said
It seems like Diarra and Ken aren't done with each other just yet. Recently, Diarra dragged Ken to court, accusing him of stealing over $100,000 from her. Yep, all those fancy vacations and expensive cars Kim was showing off were apparently paid for by the money Ken was secretly taking from her. Once Diarra found out, she cut him off, and things have gone downhill for Ken since then. Now, he's struggling to pay his rent and even had to move back in with his mom. People are even wondering how he's going to cover his lawyer fees when the trial with Diarra kicks off. She's serious about getting every penny back. In the lawsuit, Diarra says that Ken took thousands of dollars from their joint account after they had already agreed on how to split their money. She explains that when they were together and running their DK4L YouTube channel, they made over $1 million from their videos. Now, it looks like Ken's going to have to answer for all of it. Keep an eye on how this plays out. So, Diarra and Ken's YouTube channel, plus all their brand deals, were a huge money-making machine. Since they were a couple, all the payments from those deals went into their joint account. But everything flipped in 2021 when Diarra broke off their engagement after catching Ken cheating on her, for what felt like the millionth time. Apparently, he'd been unfaithful for years, but the public fallout from the 2021 scandal was the last straw. She walked away and never looked back. Even though they were done as a couple, their business was still going strong. Their YouTube channel was pulling in millions of views every month, thanks to fans who were still hooked on their old relationship. So, they decided to keep the channel going and get a lawyer to help split the money. Diarra felt she deserved a bigger share, and honestly, who could blame her? She was the reason people were even watching in the first place. Plus, she's the one who convinced Ken to start the channel in the first place. It's clear she was the driving force behind its success. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. So, while the cheating scandal was still trending all over social media, Ken completely stopped posting content. Diarra, though, kept the brand going by herself. She even put all the money she made during that time into their joint account while Ken was laying low. When they eventually broke up, they agreed to leave $80,000 in the account for business purposes, and Diarra also took over paying off the Tesla truck, which she kept. But here's where things got messy. Despite everything that happened, Ken still went behind Diarra's back and broke their agreement. Diarra claims that because she was still making money from brand deals after the breakup, she wasn't paying close attention to the money in their joint account. Ken, on the other hand, wasn't getting any brand deals, meaning he was going broke. Instead of cutting back, he started splurging on vacations, sports cars, and showing off his good life on Instagram, using Diarra's money. Well, almost a year after the breakup, Diarra decided to check on that joint account, and to her shock, Ken had wiped it clean. You can imagine how furious she was. She confronted him, and when he explained why he took the money, well, let's just say it didn't go down well. The drama isn't over yet, so keep an eye on this. There's more to come. So, Ken claimed he took the money from their joint account to cover medical bills, but Diarra wasn't having it. She called his excuse BS because the timeline didn't add up. She pointed out that the money was taken out way before he even had any medical bills. And that's not even the worst part. In her lawsuit, Diarra says they each got around $200,000 from a property buyout they had. So she couldn't understand why Ken needed to raid their account for medical bills when he had plenty of money from that deal. But wait, there's more. Remember the Tesla truck? Diarra had agreed to pay it off, and since she did, a $40,000 collateral was supposed to be refunded. But guess who took that money? Ken. He was supposed to tell Diarra about it and split it with her, but he kept it all to himself and didn't say a word. Before Diarra took this to court, she gave Ken a chance to make things right by paying her back, but he told her he was too broke to do so, and even said he had to move back in with his mom. When this all went public, people online started dragging Ken, calling him out for it. So, he posted a video trying to explain himself. But honestly, he didn't really clear anything up. He said he had text messages that he would use in court to defend himself, but right now, it looks like he's in deep. The story's still unfolding, and people are waiting to see how this is going to play out. Ken recently jumped online to address all the drama, and honestly, he wasn't having it. He started off by saying, "All right, let's clear this up real quick," clearly frustrated. He even joked that it was too early to be dealing with all of this. But he went ahead and tried to explain a few things. First, he talked about the $40,000 from the car situation. Ken said it was part of an agreement they made after multiple conversations. He said Diarra got to keep the car, and they agreed on how to handle the loan. The car was worth around $443,000, and the loan was $40,000, so they both broke even. Ken said he thought everything was settled once Diarra got the title and bill of sale, and that was supposed to be the end of it. Now, about the whole bank account issue, Ken's got his side of the story. He claimed that he and Diarra had a lot of back and forth over text messages and even had a phone call to try and settle things. According to him, they had a conversation on December 12th, 2022, where they agreed on how to handle their finances. Ken argued that Diarra's team told him to take care of his personal income and pay his own taxes, and after that, the topic was never brought up again. Ken emphasized that he thought everything was settled and that both of them had moved on from all of it. He mentioned that even with all the content they were still posting, from Snapchat stories to YouTube videos, everything seemed fine. To him, it looked like they had figured things out and were both continuing with their separate lives. He was under the impression that they were in a good place regarding their financial matters, and the drama was behind them. But here's where it gets tricky. Despite Ken's claims of moving on, Diarra says otherwise. She's calling him out for wiping the account clean without her knowledge, leaving her in the dark about what was really going on with their joint finances. She's made it clear that she didn't buy into Ken's excuse, especially considering the timeline didn't match up. She believes he's simply trying to cover up his actions. The drama surrounding their finances is clearly far from over, and Diarra is making sure Ken's held accountable for what happened with the money. It's a classic case of different stories, and it's hard not to feel like this battle is only getting started. But even though Ken feels like everything was settled, it's clear Diarra and a lot of people don't see it that way. So, the drama's far from over, and it seems like this situation still has a lot of tension left to unpack. Stay tuned, because there's definitely more to come. Alright, so here's the messy tea. Diarra and Ken's relationship has taken a major hit, and now it's getting even messier. So, after all the drama, Ken took $80,000 out of their DK4L joint account, money they were supposed to split. And this isn't even the worst part. Ken had already publicly embarrassed Diarra before and after their engagement with his cheating scandals. But it doesn't stop there. In 2023, Ken promised to sign a form agreeing to pay Diarra back by 2024, but guess what? He never responded, leaving her hanging. Instead, Diarra had to cover everything, like the Tesla, property, and taxes, using her own money that was supposed to come from that joint account. But when she checked on the account, Ken had wiped it clean. Now he's saying he's broke and had to move back to his mom's house. But hold up, this man had over $500,000 in 2023. How did that money disappear so fast? How can he not pay Diarra back? A lot of people are saying, if you look through the lawsuit, you can see that Diarra is entitled to everything she's suing for. Honestly, I really hope she gets what she deserves. But now, I want to know what you think. Do you think Ken is really broke, or did he just blow through all that cash? And do you believe his excuse about using all that money for medical bills? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And make sure you check out another messy video on this drama right here.